Hi, I'm Reverend Nancy Woods, and welcome to Wednesday Night Live, in which we take time to meditate together to acknowledge the divine presence that there is within as one unit. And to begin this service, we always start with lighting the flames of faith, a call to service. So as we move into this evening together, we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people, all faiths, and all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We lit the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We lit the second candle for the shamanic tradition, honoring the beliefs and practice of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We lit the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We lit the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We lit the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We lit the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of compassion. Christ consciousness as the path of love. We lit the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We lit the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of light, unity and peace. We lit the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we lit the 10th candle for those who are yet as yet are unaware of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at the center. As we acknowledge lighting the healing candle, please put silently or aloud within yourself into the light the names of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
And we do trust that presence, that divine presence. We trust that the infinite intelligence that has brought life forth on this planet as it is right now, we trust that it is that which has created everything that is in existence. And as we open our hearts and minds to recognize the truth of this, we recognize that the perfection of each thing that exists is right before us as we open our hearts and our mind to embrace it, including our own physical being. It is the perfection of life, that this journey that we are joined together to travel, the spiritual awareness, the spiritual understanding of life that has given us the understanding and awareness that the harmony and the love and the joy and the peace of life is always in existence. The distorted way we let go of, and we allow ourselves to release the humanistic way of perceiving and embrace the spiritual understanding that has been taught to us over the ages. And as we go into this experience, excuse me, as we go into this experience this evening, we do it with love and appreciation. And together we know this is true, as we say, and so it is. Good evening. My name is Nancy Woods. I'm the assistant minister, and thank you for joining me in this meditation this evening. I think I take this opportunity to share with you the understanding and the awareness that has been coming to me, as welcome each and every one of you to join me and your awareness as we meditate together. I wanted to share this reading with you before we go into the meditation. It's by Joel Goldsmith from the book Consciousness is What I Am. And in this, the personal sense of I is the destroyer of spiritual ministry. In a group meditation, instead of thinking about I, me, or mine, my problem, or my health, what happens when a number of us sit down and forget that the little I turn to the I which is God, and turn to the I which is God. Realize that I, in the center of us, is governing factor in all our experience, and power is upon its shoulder. It is the law and the substance and the reality. What happens when we drop all these separate I's and in quote, I, unquote, and find only one I in the midst of us, which is all of us centered in God and not on our personal problems, which most groups in meditation, each member of the group is thinking of himself and his problem. But all that disappears in this type of meditation is that which there is only one I, governed, supporting, maintaining, sustaining, feeding, enlightening, teaching, revealing, unfolding, and disclosing its own identity. All these separate I's are absent. It has been said that if we could be silent on a subject of I for even a half an hour, if we could drop I, Joel, completely, or I, Bill, or I, Mary, and contemplate the I, which is God, we would have the kingdom of God on earth. If we study the religious and philosophical revelations of the world, we would never find any deeper teaching than this. It is because of the depth of that teaching that it has not been maintained in the human history. Whenever there has been a master to reveal it, there have been a few disciples able to grasp it. Then, with the particular teacher and his disciples gone, the teaching has died out because never in the world's history have there been many persons willing to set aside the personal sense of I. We have two examples of this in the lives of Gautama, the Buddha, and Christ Jesus. Buddha discovered this truth and taught it to his disciples, who were fired with the desire to give it to the world. To do that, they found ashrams where people could learn about it, but this defeated its purpose. and the Buddha took himself out of the world because the word I kept bobbing up. Somebody always wanted to know who was going to succeed the master. Somebody else wanted to know who was going to be the housekeeper, who was going to be the financier, whose name was going to be on the estate. The word I came in again, and the spiritual import of the whole movement was wrecked. Jesus experienced the same thing. His revelation is found in the book of John. He walked up and down the countryside, taught and preached in synagogues, on the streets, in the homes, on the hills, all because of an inner yearning to set the world free. He too found those who sought to sit on his right hand or left hand. I came in again. It was not a question of what God wanted, only I. Then Jesus and his then came Judas and his jealousy, and the problem, the jealousy of some and of the other disciples. I popped in, always I. The word I is what has wrecked spiritual work at every stage because some student would say to himself, oh, that's a great truth. That will put me on the platform. And if not, it will put me at the right hand of the master or at the right hand of the leader. I comes in. Instead of the student should say, oh, since there is no little I don't care where I'm on the platform or down here, as long as I know that God is the only I am about my Father's business. Realizing God as an individual being. Miracles happen when I does not enter in. When somebody calls on us for help, and we can realize that there is no such person, that there is no such I, the healing has already begun. But when we look upon a person as I and think, how am I going to heal him or improve him or enrich him? We have destroyed our effectiveness as a practitioner because there is no such I. The only I is God, and it does not need healing, teaching, or enriching. If somebody says, I am sick, and our response is, well, let us see what we are going to do about making you well. That is the blind leading the blind. The patient believes in a selfhood apart from God. And as long as we also have the idea of selfhood apart from God, we are both going to land in the ditch. The only way we can experience a healing ministry from a high spiritual level is to be convinced that there is no I or selfhood apart from God. If there is no God. There cannot be God and a mortal being, sick, sinning, and dying. We not only wipe out the belief of a physical disease and a mental cause, but even the person who is experiencing it. And we come to the realization of his true identity. We do not take a human being and make him healthier, wealthier, or wiser. We reveal God as the infinite individual being. We are interested in seeing the God of his being come into permanent manifestation. The way to do that is to die daily to the humanhood, to be reborn to our spiritual identity, to realize When anyone calls for help, that in all of God's kingdom there is no such person, no such condition. By maintaining and sustaining that attitude, harmony begins to appear. When anyone in our family or among our friends involved in any sense of discord comes to our thought, instead of being concerned to see how much we can help him, we sit down with, I'm not going to believe there is such a person. God is infinite individuality. God is infinite person. God is infinite one. And besides God, there is no other. The real way to help is to learn how to die daily. And the only way to learn that is to begin with a disciple of what I call not I, no, this person does not concern me. He has nothing to do with me. The real and only I is taking care of that. I will stop here. I found that when I was reading this, I recognized how often it may have occurred to me as a practitioner, how can I help? And the more and more I read and understand and study what Joel is saying, our biggest way to help anyone is to recognize the divine presence as the existence of life. And our process of doing that is a journey. I don't know if it ever comes a time when we totally erase the idea of this individual self. But more and more as we focus in that direction, I realize more and more that everything is God in expression. And it kind of feels distorted when I think about me actually doing it and helping God, because the person that I'm thinking about is God in expression. And who am I to be helping God? Even though things show up in front of me of what to do and what to say, I realize that the more the energy in me is recognized that God is the center of my being, the better and the healthier the people seem around me. And it's like when I feel like there's things that I should be doing to help people, I think that to me it has become a tap on the shoulder to spend more time recognizing and being in the oneness of life, letting go of the I, and recognizing this oneness, the I am as the divine presence, and the same I am that is in me is I am that is in everything. And releasing everything to this universal presence really is letting go. And I understand more and more of the concept of letting the humanistic thinking die when I think of in terms of fixing or correcting something. So tonight, I want us to go into this meditation together. And I'm inviting each one to join me as we do this. And I really feel like that the understanding of letting go of the humanistic expression of ourselves is releasing the need to make anything better, not only in ourselves, but but all the things around us. And I really love the idea and the consciousness that my part in it is to just recognize the divine presence, to know and understand that this who and what I am is spirit of life, to spend my time seeing myself being supported and nurtured to do this by this presence, for this presence, and through this presence, and with this presence. And that as I do this, I feel like there is a joy and a harmony that I can experience. And the joy and the harmony just comes from the feeling that this is what I'm doing, not something that's coming from out there, nothing that has to happen, nothing, because it is already this way. It is already in existence. And I am on, my journey is in relaxing and allowing myself to see it, experience it, and feel it. So as we go into this meditation, I would invite you to just relax in the idea, relax from the consciousness of the world that's going on outside of yourself. Relax into the awareness that there is only this divine presence that is within, and that our hearts and mind and whole being is the infinite intelligence of the universe saying yes to life. Knowing that the oneness of life comes in this recognition. This oneness brings such great feeling of wholeness, of completion. It brings it's a feeling of wealth and love. So as we relax into this, I invite you to just get comfortable. Allow ourselves to relax and allow the energy, any tension to flow away. And just take a deep breath and breathe in the breath of the divine. Let's take another deep breath and feel that divine presence as it comes into us. And release any and all resistance to it. Accept this presence, this love, and feel the oneness, the unity. And know there is but this one, uniquely expressing in each and everything that there is. Knowing that this presence is the I am. The Father within that Jesus spoke of. The wonders that Buddha taught us about. And the many spiritual teachers along the way. The one that recognized and understood. And as we move into the silence, let's move into just bathing in this awareness. Being still and knowing. That I am the one I am, that it's all of us. Yet the one and the only I am that exists. As we allow ourselves to come back to this time and this moment, come back to the idea, to acknowledge the oneness of the universe. Know that each one of us is that infinite intelligence expressing life. Knowing this and knowing that, the bodies, the minds, the activity, the creativity, the abundance, the love, all springs forth from this oneness as it individualizes itself as each person, as it brings forth the awareness and the understanding of the creative flow of life and the newness that comes out of each individualized expression. As we know and understand and embrace the idea and understanding of the oneness, we are able to perceive and see the wholeness in each person around us. As we recognize the beauty of the infinite, as it recognizes itself in all things. It is that which is in me and in everything. It is the joy of life that has been reached for. It is the peace that has been experienced and embraced. It is the love that is given way of itself in many forms. It is the glory of being alive itself that brings forth the consciousness, the appreciation and embracing of all the activities of life, and know that each one is an individualized journey of the divine revealing itself in all the different ways and in different forms and in different expressions of being. Knowing the true harmony in each and every existence, each every expression of life, each and every activity of life, this harmony, this wondrous truth of its being, knowing that it is created all, is able to create that which is bringing forth an unfoldment of each person in a beautiful and dynamic way. And it's with a very appreciative and consciousness that I acknowledge this understanding and awareness. Acknowledge that I know and understand that the I have let go of, and it is the oneness of life that I am embracing, that is willingly coming forth as each person. I allow this perception of I to fall away. I know that it is all God. It is the wondrous presence that is taking each step, that is engaged in each activity, that is manifesting as the physical form in the healthy bodies and the loving relationships and the joyful creations. It is all the divine. It is this truth that I recognize, that we recognize in this moment. We are that infinite presence saying yes to life. Letting it be my truth, letting it be the truth that has been shared between all of us, letting this revelation be what is being experienced. And this gratefulness, appreciation unfolds. So with joy, knowing the unity of us all, thank you. Thank you. And knowing this together is knowing that so it is and so be it. Thank you for joining me in this meditation. Thank you for joining me in recognizing that there is but that one presence. And knowing that each one goes forth from this moment, rested in a restful peace, a joyful experience of being, and a greater time of loving. And thank you all. So from the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, we thank you. And we express our gratitude for all of your support and for sharing with us the wealth of the universe in the many ways that you do. And as the announcements come on, we remind you that on Tuesday night, the class in Advanced Science of Mind, Advanced Metaphysics. Yeah. Advanced Metaphysics on Tuesday night. And join Reverend Mike, and you can still join the class. Give him a call at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, or you can check in on our website. Either way, you can join the class on Tuesday, and it's online and in person. And also join us on Sunday morning at 10:30. At 9 o'clock, we have a 9 o'clock service and a 10:30 service. 10:30 service is online. 9 o'clock service is not, but you may come in and join us. Is reservation still required?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Reservations, call in and let us know that you come in, because we still have it at 20, which soon we will let that go. So the 9 o'clock service and the 10:30 service, you're welcome to join us for that in person or online. I think that's all the announcements. Did I miss any, Mike?
Yeah,
That's it? And thank you all for joining us. And again, my name is Nancy Woods, and I'm saying thank you for joining me and and Mike in the back, who's running this online, as we appreciate you joining us and with this opportunity to share our energy with you tonight. And have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And to all, good night. Good night.